Hello everyone, today we're going to be doing a watercolor painting. Before I begin, be sure to like and subscribe and let's see what I come up with. To begin, I'm starting off with this green colored pencil because the pencil is going to show through the watercolors either way, but this way, since my painting will be mostly green anyway, the mixing of the colors won't make it all gray and musty, dark looking, so this will be a better base. And then I just went through with a green watercolor base layer and just filled everything in before I started adding some deeper shadows. If you haven't guessed it yet by the pictures, we are doing a Pokemon inspired watercolor painting. Me and my husband recently just bought a Nintendo Switch gaming console thing, and it's super fun, super cool. We picked out 2 games to start, and this Pokemon Snap was one of them. My husband had a Nintendo 64, so we used to play it on that a lot too. So this is really fun to play it on there and really inspired me to create this. Now I'm going in with a little bit darker colors, fleshing out even more of the details, so that way we have a good base layer to add details on top of later. Then I started working on the flower for Ivysaur. I tried to put in the Pokemon according to the jungle type region in the Pokemon Snaps game. I looked it up, tried to be as accurate as possible, but also took some of my own creative liberties to put in the certain colors and certain Pokemon that I wanted to be in there a little bit too. But I did try to put as many in there as possible without it looking oversaturated with things or oversaturated with all of these bright colors, because Pokemon are not like animals in real life and they are very saturated with a lot of different colors. With watercolors, I know it's very important to build, and so I was trying to be very patient with how much I was adding color-wise and how much detail I was adding to begin with, but I don't have a lot of patience like that, and I was getting frustrated that I couldn't see anything, so I decided to go ahead and go in with a little bit more details and darken the colors just a little bit. And I tried to add too much detail too soon, as you can see here with Arbok, and it did not work because it was too wet and I didn't wait long enough. So I ended up going back in and fixing all of that. But yeah, you definitely need patience with watercolor, and that's something that I need a little bit more practice in. Patience and watercolors in general. At this point, I was kind of feeling like the painting could go either way. It could either go in the trash or in a frame on the wall, and I wasn't sure which one it was going to be, but it wasn't looking how I wanted it to yet, so I decided to try out some of these watercolor brush pens. I figured it really can't get worse, so why not try? And these were actually super awesome and helpful because it helped me control a little bit more, and they were also blendable, so if I made any harsh lines, I could just take my watercolor paintbrush and smooth out any of the lines that I didn't want and use it to saturate places a little bit better. So I was really liking these, and I really think these helped me to create this piece. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Pokemon is. I don't know if this is basic, I don't know if this is a bad answer, but mine is Piplup, and I would be interested to know what yours is. And then I started working on Apom, and this guy was a little bit freaky looking, I'm not gonna lie. I put in some details on his face later, and I'm kind of shocked. But I just added a little more details to everything. I tried to underline the rocks with a darker color, and then I didn't really love that too much. I tried to blend it out, but it was kind of too late. They were already pretty dark, but I keep making it work. It's gonna work out in the end. But this watercolor painting process has a lot of ugly stages, and I'm not sure if that's just the way that I'm doing it or if that's true for watercolor in general, but we got through it and it all worked out okay. I then started to work on more of the green details in this one, so I worked on the little hidden metapod up at the top, and then I also did some more of the shrubbery and surrounding greenery, and this was actually a lot of fun to do. I did it in a little bit more of a messy type of style, but I actually really like how it turned out in the end. And I add a lot more of that later as well for the trees and for other areas, just to make it all seem more cohesive and to make it feel more like an actual forest. Here I am making more of that greenery, and I think it really transforms the piece here. I think this is when we really start seeing it go from an ugly phase and start morphing into something that's not so ugly, which made me really excited. I could finally see something, and my intention with the watercolors at first was to have it so they weren't so saturated. I kind of wanted a light, watery, like very translucent kind of looking piece. And then I kind of realized that that's not my style. That's not in my storehouse of skills in this department. I don't do watercolors often. I probably do them about once a year. So that was not going to happen, but I really like the more saturated version as well. That's much more my style, and it was much more in my realm of capabilities with these pens and with my techniques that I know about watercolors. So that's what I went with, and I actually really like it. I started working on making the animals look more like they were supposed to and making them a bit more saturated. So Leopard, and then we have Apom down there, and I started working on Arbok too, just giving everyone some outlines and making sure that they were able to be seen in the photo. I felt like everyone was blending in a bit too much, which is good for them in terms of not being seen in the jungle, but not so great when I'm trying to emphasize them in a watercolor painting. So then I was able to go back in with this brush pen and do Arbok some justice with better detailing, and this worked out much better, and I should have been more patient before and just done it this way to begin with. Hey, it all worked out anyway, so it was okay. I added a couple more details to him, and then it was time to make a decision. Well, firstly, I turned on my lights, and then I decided to go in with a fine liner to do some more of the finer details and to make things stand out and look the way that I wanted them to. So this is completely against my original idea of having that light, airy, translucent looking watercolor. And then I went in and just decided to do everything a little bit more bold, a little more detailed, a little more stylistic and emphasized. And I think that worked out in my favor. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think down below, but I really liked the addition of this. This guy looks a little creepy, but I think that's pretty much just his face. You let me know if you think he's creepy, but I mean, when you look at Apom, it's just like, yikes. Here you go. There's some cuteness to take you away from Apom's face. But anyway, then I started adding more details to the background areas as well. I first started off with the Pokemon because I wasn't sure if I was going to use the fine liner just as a tool to make them pop out more. But then I just decided it didn't really make sense to do that way. So I decided to add more details to everyone and everything else, which I actually really like. And I'm glad that I made that decision to do that. After I was done fine lining literally everything in sight, I then went in with my favorite part, the white gel pen. If you know, you know, but the white gel pen is the best. And so I went in and highlighted things that were supposed to look glossy or just things that I wanted to be reflective of light. And then I also went in and deepened some more of the shadows of the grass around the rocks and around the other things as well. And then it was finally done. I took the tape off, and then it was time to show you guys the final results. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment down below if you want to see more of these type of drawings. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.